Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MXGP 2021. We're going to be continuing our MX2 career mode, and it's time for the MXGP of Turkey. So round 8 will start now on the right hand side using the helmet cam for the start of this video, and then maybe I'll change it up to the third person perspective. But we do go round the outside of quite a lot of riders there. Tom Vialde up in there, and so is Rowan van der Moosdijk as Ruben Fernandez does take the Fox's whole shot, but we do try and dive over the inside of the man on board the Honda with this KTM, but unfortunately it didn't stick, and now Ruben Fernandez is beginning to open the hammer a little bit. He's beginning to open the throttle and chuck on the hammer, not open the hammer, you know what I meant though, as we go on the left hand side. A couple of jumps here, just trying to position ourselves in a good position for the next couple of left-handers and then for the right-hander after this one. Difficult section of track, and gotta be honest with you, the MXGP of Turkey is not my preferred track. I do struggle in a few areas, but I don't feel too bad. As long as we get that good start, we're not bogged down with the rest of the pack, we do have a great chance of positioning ourselves in a good spot for the rest of the race. But we get a little bit messy going into the left-hand side, a very innocuous corner. A lot of people tend to struggle with that one. It's a very, very difficult corner, but I think we didn't do a bad of a job there. But Rowan van der Moosdijk is up to the top position. We must try and chase down the man who is ahead of us on board right now. Of course, using the helmet cam, preference being for me helmet cam, but I do appreciate that you guys like the third person perspective, so I will try and change it. Now, I have been doing some 4K MXGP 2021 videos, but that is for the next season when we move up to MXGP after hopefully acquiring the World Championship in the MX2 class. But for the time being, this video is still QHD upscale to 4K, which is not quite as good, but of course, native 4K will be a thing for the future videos, I can assure you. Now, I did have a few minor stutters and a few frame rate issues with it in 4K, but I think I might have fixed that now. I did have a few thermal throttling issues with my PC. The fans were ramping up to their desired speed, but thankfully that is a thing of the past right now. But back to the action of the MXGP of Turkey. I would pronounce where this is from, but unfortunately I can't pronounce it. I have difficulties pronouncing the word, but goodness me, we get a little bit wide there, and we've just opened the door to not only just Ruben Fernandez, but also Maxime Renaux, I think is on the charge for the World Championship this season as much as Matt Grant is right now. Of course, the man on board with right now, the number 461, is still using the red plate. I've been holding on to that red plate since pretty much the beginning, so we've done a grand job to hold on to it as long as we have done. We've had a couple of issues. Kagums was a very, very difficult Grand Prix weekend, but we're back into the thick of it right now, battling for a top 4 position. I do believe the podium is definitely on the table for us right now. Is it on our table? I certainly hope so. There's plenty of cards there for us to play the game, so I'm pretty certain we can get the job done, but we just gotta try and get a bit more speed. I do find this last sector is where I can pick up some additional speed in the start of the particular lap as well, but that middle sector, depending on where you position the motorcycle, I can lose a little bit of time, but we'll now try and chuck it into the left-hand side here, going into the berm and a little bit over. When you go over the berm, you kind of messed up the corner, so got to try and get that right from now on, as Jed Beaton trying to insert himself as he actually goes over the top of Matt Grant, who's on your screen right now as we go on the left-hand side. Rowan van der Moosdijk has just set us up for the final 2 laps of this Grand Prix of Turkey. But now onto the right-hand side, avoiding that little bump in the middle of the track there as we go onto the left-hand side, keeping it tight to the apex if we can, struggling to bring on the acceleration without spinning the rear up a little bit too much. Now, when I play MXGP, and when I play the likes of rally games such as Dirt 5 and WRC10, well, on occasion when I very rarely play it, and of course Hot Wheels as well for that matter, I do tend to use the PS5's DualSense controller rather than using the DualShock 4, which I do find helps me a hell of a lot when I'm playing for the likes of MotoGP or even Ride 4. I do find the DualShock 4 is a better feeling amongst the triggers rather than having a dead zone, which for me is a little bit too large on the PS5 controller. But we'll get back to that for later on, because the podium beckons one of 3 riders right now. Maxime Renaux is going to get absolutely out of shape there. I was just to mention, or was at least just about to mention, the Frenchman is in the prime position for that third position, as we now dive for the inside of Jed Beaton, as Maxime Renaux is now up into 3rd position with 1 and a little bit of laps remaining. As long as we get into the tabletop section here, going into the miniature whoops, we might have a chance of closing in on the Frenchman. The number 959 has certainly been on our tail this season, as we'll try and get the change of direction. And this is going to be a late lunge if we can make it work. Do we kind of make that work? You know what? I think that did. I think that actually, well, we pulled it off. We did actually manage to make sense of that particular move, and now we're up into the podium positions for the second time of asking. We've got to stay there this time, though. We made the hash last time and made a mess, as we almost made a mess there, jumping it a little bit too far to the left-hand side. But we won't worry about that now, because now it's time to get on the left-hand side once again and use the feathering amount of acceleration. I do find with the left-hand side or right-hand side in those sort of angles, it's difficult to apply a lot of acceleration, as you can feel the bike skipping and sliding. Oh my goodness! Oh, I thought we were down then. I thought that was curtains. I thought that was absolutely curtains. How close was that? How is your nerves right now, Mr. Grant? Goodness me. That was a little bit scary, as Jed Beaton has just found himself down into the dirt as well just a moment ago, that we were fainting just earlier on, but we're now trying on the right hand side. We made a bit of a mockery of that berm there. When you mess up the rut like that, you really can't improve your line from that. You can only just hang on for a few moments until it's sort of over, and then start to attack once again. Now the gap to Ruben Fernandez is 9 seconds, so I think the gap to Rowan van der Moosdijk is definitely out of reach, unless we have some sort of heroic lap time here on the last lap, which I don't think is going to happen. I'm not going to concern myself right now. And considering the graphic on the left-hand side depicts two very, very fast riders who are just neck and neck behind us, and we've just messed up that rut, this could get a little bit scary right now, guys. This could get a bit too tense, but we now only have a couple of corners to go. So this one here on the right-hand side, be careful of that jump in the middle of the track as we get a big leap, and now it's time to bring on the acceleration, get into the left-hand side, keep it tight, keep it clean, and get across the line to take our podium of the MXGP of Turkey for race 1. So the end of race 1 sees Rowan van der Moosdijk take over at the front and get the perfect 25 points. Ruben Fernandez second on board the Honda, and Grant finishes third on the KTM. So now it's time for race 2, and yes, I did treat us to a third-person perspective for this particular part of the race. So we got race 2 underway with 3 minutes on the clock plus 2 laps. We do indeed take the Fox's whole shot, which is always nice to see, and we'll get on the right-hand side, chucking that right boot out onto the floor there. One of the UFO boots as whoa, my goodness, once again, massive moment there. Absolutely heart in mouths moment there, ladies and gentlemen. That is just bloody scary, if I do say so myself. One little mistake, that's all it takes, and you find yourself on the back foot. Thankfully, we still did hold on to the lead. I'm guessing the riders behind must have just taken avoiding action rather, just to avoid any sort of contact with Grant, who was going absolutely hell for leather trying to hold on to this KTM. The KTM race store bike is certainly nimble and certainly stable after getting way out of shape, so I feel alright knowing that we've had those few moments. And considering we got onto the podium for the first race and we were sort of bogged down a little bit, I'm more than confident with our sort of potential for the second race of the MXGP of Turkey, because we are in the lead. We have a bit of a gap to a few riders behind. I'm not entirely sure who it was. I didn't see the graphic a moment ago, but I'm guessing it will be updated very, very soon. So into the right-hand side now, chucking the bike into the berm there, into the rut as you go, and now once again for the left-hand side. Bit of a jump here to position yourself into the decline of the jump, and then we'll get it onto the right-hand side. Not a fan of taking that tighter apex there. Probably better to go a little bit wider and then come in on an angle rather than jumping over the little bit of a leap that we get a moment ago. So across the line, we do set us up for the very, very final couple of laps now. We'll have a roughly around 3 laps. We have the 1 minute and a bit remaining, plus the 2 laps. So across the whole shot once again, we are still in the lead in the top position for the MXGP of Turkey right now, as we now get a bit of a jump. Oh, another scary moment there as well, just hitting the rear tyre onto the sort of apex of the jump, onto the main point of the jump, the peak of the jump, if you will, and that certainly lost us a bit of time. I'm rather looking forward to jumping over to the 450 bikes very, very soon, because I do find the 250s, it requires a hell of a lot of jumping accuracy to make sure that you get these jumps correct. And Rowan van der Moosdijk in second position, trailing by less than 0.6 of a second. So my calculations are saying that Rowan van der Moosdijk will win the MXGP of Turkey if things remain as they are right now. So 7.5 of a second as we get a bit of a silly wheelie coming into the corner there, but now into the right. We'll get a moment to chuck it into the left, chucking it into the tighter, deeper rut there as we now bring on to the miniature tabletop section, trying to push all the way into the back of the bike there to keep the rear wheel down so we're not trying to hit onto the front and possibly cause an endo or two. So on the right hand side we'll now go and chuck it to the left once again. Do very much prefer this part of the track. You can see a gap is developing and someone has just been beaten, and excuse the pun, it was Jed Beaton who actually just got ahead of Rowan van der Moosdijk, and this is crucial. If we can remain the same as we are doing now, fast lap times, smooth, controlled and concise, we have a wonderful chance of taking the victory here, not only just of race 2, but the actual Grand Prix itself, because if Rowan van der Moosdijk is not going to be featuring on the podium, then we could very well be taking another MXGP victory, and this is what we strive for. We have the red plate. Can we add on to our championship lead with more additional championship points? That is the goal. You know why you watch the videos. That is why we're trying to compete in the best possible way we can do. But now we need to focus. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself and I'm getting a little bit nervous because I do see Jed Beaton in second position. It could be one or two riders, but it definitely looks like Jed Beaton is on the charge. It's actually Jago Geerts who's coming in to spoil the party. The Belgian man wants to get involved and ruin our chances. We've had a couple of battles with Jago Geerts this season. I'm guessing it is only going to continue, and this one could be another boiling point of our MXGP MX2 career mode, which is going to be another brilliant season mode that we've got, from MXGP to MotoGP to Ride 4 to everything else we play. Another fantastic season, which of course is going to soon take us to MXGP main category, so we should be on the bigger, better, beefier motorcycles, which I still haven't decided which team I'm going to be joining. It does look very likely like it could be a Honda. I'm sort of leaning towards that idea, but hey ho, it's just thoughts right now. Nothing is committed, and of course the most important part is we have pulled away from Jago Geerts, a name I have a little bit of difficulty saying. I still don't even know if I say it correctly, but across the line we will go. 138.804, but someone has just chucked in a 136.947. So someone is on the charge, and that someone unfortunately is not me. It's one of the riders behind us. We get a little bit out of shape there, just slipping the rear ever so slightly into the right-hander, into the left-hander, excuse me, and then into the right-hander, of course, avoiding touching the rear tyre onto the peak of that jump. And now, from here, if we have the lead, if I'm confident, if we stay focused, I'm pretty confident this victory is ours. Need to find out who it is in second place. If it's Jago Geerts or if it's Jed Beaton, I'm going to be a little bit worried. If it's Maxime Renault, then I'm going to absolutely panic, because he is really, really fast in MXGP. It's Jago Geerts still, as we'll try and hopefully hold him back. He's definitely getting to the same point he was earlier on the previous lap, so from here we've got to get this right. I'm going to go for the wider line to chuck it in for the left hand side, and hopefully we're still positioned in the best possible spot. We are for now, but for how much longer do we need to hold on? Do we need to go for it, or do we just need to defend? I'm mixed right now. I think maybe just go for it. Just absolutely go for it. Think of the best. Just defend if needs be, but if we get to the front, well, if we stay at the front and just get away, we won't need to defend, and that is what I'm trying to do right now. But Jago Geerts is on my tail. We have only a couple more corners remaining. The gap is 0.8 of a second, providing nothing sort of horrendous goes on right now. We should have this one well and truly in the bag. Going into the left-hand side, Jago Geerts is there. Jago Geerts is there indeed, but we get the victory here in the MXGP of Turkey for race 2. So as mentioned, victory for Matt Grant in race 2 of the MXGP of Turkey. Jago Geerts finishes in second place, Jed Beaton third, and Ruben Fernandez finishes in fourth place. And the winner of race 1, Rowan van der Moosdijk, in fifth place. So looking at the Grand Prix results, Grant does take the Grand Prix victory of Turkey with 4 points clear from Rowan van der Moosdijk, and Ruben Fernandez holds on for a podium finish at the end of the MXGP in third position. So which is now our 5th Grand Prix victory of the season out of the 12 races that we've got in store for us this season. I think that is pretty impressive. I'm very happy with the result here in Turkey. Not the best track, but I feel great on board the KTM, and getting back to winning ways is crucial for the championship. So looking at the championship standings, we now lead by 38 points, and this championship is far from over, but still, it's coming to a close very soon. So guys, thanks for watching as always. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now, with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.